world changers from Baptist Chapel, Baptist Church a couple weeks ago. They went down to Louisiana, and coming back Saturday a week ago, Mackenzie Taylor, Mackenzie I think is 14, is that right? Mackenzie posted on the 21st, they were in Goodby or Godby, Louisiana. She posted this on Facebook. Listen to what she had to say. It's not even 7:30 and this morning has already been exhausting. Packing suitcases, deflating air mattresses, packing tiny fans, and loading up the van. I've been thinking, at the beginning of the week, I feel like all I did was complain and think about how terrible World Changers was going to be. Sleeping on an air mattress on the floor of a church, showering in a shower trailer, working in the heat all day, and having to work with and be around complete strangers. Having to deal with people that I might not necessarily get along with. Some people don't have any of the things I've been complaining about. Yeah, I had to take a shower in the trailer, and it was cold, but some people don't have a shower at all, or a roof to call their own where they can rest their head every night, or a hot meal. I'm now going to be able to appreciate the things I have at home even more. It was really hard at the beginning, but now I look back at it and I know that's not how I should have been looking at this experience. I thank God that I had the amazing opportunity to be at World Changers this week. God has worked in many ways to change my perspective on a lot of things. I have had such a great time seeing all the lives we've changed and the people we've helped. I can't wait till next year. Man, when I read that Saturday morning, it almost left me in tears. This is a 14-year-old, y'all. A 14-year-old.
Yes.
You know,
I didn't request prayer for my granddaughter and her husband, and that just has really reminded me that they're leaving in the morning about 6 o'clock from Raleigh Durham Airport with 7 others to go to Ecuador on a mission trip. And so anytime you think of them, just whisper a prayer for them, because they're going to be going close to the Amazon, and it's going to be dangerous, kind of what they're doing. But they're going to be in some of those same situations, except probably worse.
and you know, I'm filled with wonder and amazement at those who feel that calling to go on the mission field. And by the way, you've reminded me, thank you for saying that our brother Alfred has returned. They had a good trip. I've not spoken to him yet to get specific details, but I know they had a good trip. But going back to what Mackenzie wrote, I want to ask you, can you think of other places in the Bible? And I know, I'm not going to ask you if you can think of days you've been like that, because you're all breathe and you're all human. So I know you've had days like that, because I do all the time. Who else in the Bible had that kind of attitude? This is not a rhetorical question now. Who else had that kind of attitude? You know, man, I don't want to do this. I don't like this. This ain't good. This stinks. Jonah. Absolutely. He didn't want to go. In fact, he went the other way. Who else? Right in the beginning of the Bible. Moses didn't want the responsibility. He said, Lord, I can't speak. Why me? The whole nation of Israel. I mean, Lord, if you read Exodus, that was the most unhappy bunch of people I've ever seen in my life. They were unhappy about everything. Every 5 minutes they were grumbling against the Lord. And God would take pity on them because they eventually understood that God was the provider. And they asked Him for provision. And He provided. And 5 minutes later, well, Lord, what have you done for me lately? I mean, isn't that kind of our attitude? You know, what have you done for me lately? There's tons of people. Gideon. Gideon said, well, I'm the weakest of my clan. Why would you want me to go out and lead armies? The disciples, Father, why should we feed these people? We ain't got no food to feed all these people. Who was that touched the hem of your garment? These people need to stay away. You know, and that's us, folks. That's us. I want to share a few scriptures with you. I'm not going to preach. This ain't going to be long, but I do want to share a few scriptures that just brought me to mind, or came to my mind, I should say, after I read Mackenzie's testimony. In Deuteronomy 28, it says, if you faithfully obey the voice of the Lord your God, being careful to do all his commandments that I command you today, the Lord your God will set you high above all the nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you if you obey the voice of the Lord your God. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of your womb, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your herds, and the young of your flock. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Philippians 2:14 says, do all things. All things. Doesn't say a few things. Doesn't say the things you want to. All things. And I think that word all is in every translation. I'm reading from the English Standard Version, but I don't believe there's a translation that leaves that word out. Do all things without grumbling or questioning. Is that hard for anybody? Lord, it's hard for me. I mean, it's hard for me every day. Philippians 4, chapter 4, verse 11. Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation to be content. Now, this is Paul writing. Let me read that again. Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low. I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. And you know that plenty and abundance, we don't have any trouble with that at all, do we? Lord, bring it on. Oh, wait a minute. That's the time we ain't paying much attention to the Lord. You know, when we've got everything going our way, we tend to forget where it came from. The Word says all good things come from the Lord. And we tend to forget that. Philippians 2, verse 12. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only as in my presence, but much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. Do all things without grumbling or questioning, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast to the word of life, so that in the day of Christ I may be proud that I did not run in vain or labor in vain. Of course, that's Paul again writing. But that same thing, grumbling, questioning. James chapter 1 says, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And I'll end with this one. 1 Thessalonians says, give thanks in all, there's that word again, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. It doesn't say give thanks when everything is going your way. It doesn't say give thanks because you're feeling good today. It doesn't say give thanks because you got a new car that's newer and prettier than your neighbor's. It doesn't say give thanks because your bank account's better than somebody else's. It says give thanks in all circumstances. No matter where we are, no matter what's going on in our lives, it's happening for a reason. It's God's will. We don't always understand. We don't always know why. Just like Mackenzie said, man, all she was thinking about. It's going to be a bunch of people there. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. I did this before. That shower trailer is awful. This ain't going to be fun. Why did I decide to do this? But when she got there and she opened her heart and mind to the teachings that were there, embraced the other folks that were there with love, embraced the people in the community that they were doing things for with love, she was blessed. 1 Thessalonians again, I'm going to close. Give thanks in all circumstance, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you, brother.